I'll record it now and then I'll post it. But the first few minutes we went over the basics of payroll. So how many hours are in a week? How many hours are in a year? How many, what does FUTA, SUTA, and FICA stand for? What the different terminology is for gross pay and net pay and modified gross pay. And what overtime, standard overtime rates are, as opposed to the standard hours in a week, right? So if you go over the standard hours or 40 hours per week and you get into overtime, what that rate's going to look like, or how many hours, you know, if you do 50 hours per week, 10 is overtime, 40 is standard. You'll need to know that information. And then also forms. What's a W-4 compared to a W-2? What's a 1099 compared to a 940 or 941? The forms that we've looked at so far, the IRS forms, what are those and how they're used? And then, yeah, basic QuickBooks usage on what we've done, setting up inventories, setting up beginning balances. How do you issue a credit memo, or how do you do a check, or how do you pay a bill if you're not entering them first into bills? Let's see what else. And I think that's basically when you jumped on, right? About that time.
Yeah. So it kind of sounds like that maybe multiple choice, maybe essay kind of questions. Is that what I'm?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a combination of both. I just have the key. So I definitely like the first 5 to 7 questions are multiple choice. And then the rest of them look like it's more essay questions on how to do stuff. But I might be wrong on that. And it might be actual multiple choice. But I didn't set up the quiz either or the exam, so I don't know how it's structured in detail. But I'm looking, yeah, it's gonna, my assumption is that it's gonna be both.
Okay.
And like, how do you enter a new SKU? How do you run reports? And then some theoretical stuff, or why is this important? Why is doing the bank rec important? Why is, you know, what would happen if a check never cleared? When a customer issues PO, what happens then? Why is it necessary to have a PO number? Yeah, that's, I would say, the gist of it. Overall, but any more questions or concerns?
I have a question. I just wasn't sure when you said what to do about uncleared checks. I mean, for me, I would just think to wait for the next month's bank reconciliation, but I don't know if that's wrong. I don't know if I should know something different.
Yeah, so there's a few, that's one way of doing it, right? Is just wait and then the check will clear, but then what if it never clears? So if you go 6 months down the road, then what happens with that uncleared check? Do you reach out to the vendor to see why they haven't seen it? Do you call and see if they even got it? Do you double check that it's even been issued? You know, there's additional stuff because, and I'm assuming if I remember correctly, in March, there's still that uncleared check for the employee and it's never checked. So in that case, you know, you'd ask the employee, well, why haven't you cut or cashed your check? And then they said, well, I lost it and didn't want to tell anyone. I don't know, something like that. So there's different steps that you'd have to take if it never cleared. And that's fair if it's 1 month or 2 months and you're like, well, usually there's standard practices of 60 days, the check gets voided and then reissued. But depending on if a vendor never received it, then you would just void it and reissue it anyway. So just different things like that with that question.
Okay, thanks.
That wasn't very clear of an answer, but it gave you a lot of things to think about.
Well, I just wasn't like those are things that were kind of common sense, like
Yeah,
normal practice. I would think. I didn't know if there was something specific that was, so it's
Right.
pretty much just a normal.
yeah, normal standard practice.
Okay,
If it, never been cashed, then you'd go through those things.
okay.
And was there a chapter that I can go back to and read through concerning the tax forms that you talked about? Because I don't know if I could like tell you the differences. So I'll have to go and like, is there a chapter about that?
I don't know, because I haven't read the readings and I don't know what chapters have what, to be frank or honest with you. Maybe I'll just name the forms that you need to know. So you need to know the difference between a W-2 and a 1099. You need to know what a 941 is and a 940. You also need to know what a W-4 is and the basic use of those forms. Let me see if there's other forms in here that are mentioned. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, that's it. And then the different taxes and what the acronyms for the different taxes. So FICA, FUTA, SUTA, what those acronyms mean.
Just like federal unemployment taxes, something like that? That's
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. So
Okay.
Is it a timed test?
I don't think so. I think if I remember reading, the test is the modules. I think it's open book and open. Let me look at it right here. Exam 1 preparation. So it says you may use any resource that is available to find the correct answer. This is an open book test, but it's not an open friend exam. The assignment is to give you time to prepare. Let me go back to the actual assignment in the module. Oh, exam 1. Time limit, no time limit. So it looks like there's no time limit.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me. Other questions? Yeah, So I actually accessed the document, and it looks like there all are a combination of multiple choice and essay type questions. So it's just going to be an open essay that you can write the methods or your thoughts on what to do in certain situations. Yep. Any other questions? No, no, no. All right. Well, I guess that's all I've got then.
Okay, thank you for doing this. It's
You're
helpful.
welcome.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Bye.